Friends, I'm ready to do my review on the Beretta 1301 Tactical. Now this one was the enhanced version. I got it in November 2023. So as of November 2023, it's the latest and greatest and has all the updates. And I took it to the range twice, got about 150 rounds through it, and I've done a full disassembly and cleaning. So I am ready to give you a full up close and personal review of this gun. But before we get started, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it to one of your friends that might like the same kind of content. And also don't forget about the knife giveaways, because that's my way of thanking you for supporting my channel. Alright, so up close and personal with the 1301. Let's start with the stock back here. We have a fairly short stock. It's got a 13-inch length of pull, and that's the way I like it. I like a short length of pull because it gives me more maneuverability. Stock also has a small place right here to attach a swing swivel, and I did order a blue force gear sling, but it hasn't come in yet. Stock's got checkering here. It's not overly aggressive, but it's there. It's definitely good. It's not just that front foreend's got more aggressive checkering. It's got a metal trigger guard. It's not polymer. And there is your cross bolt safety. Let's take a look at that. Alright, so you can get a good look there. Now, I've heard some complaints about this safety, and I just don't get it. I think it's perfect the way it is. It's got plenty of travel. It protrudes plenty far. It's got a nice big red ring there that tells you if it's on or off, and it's a nice huge button here. Look how far it protrudes out. I mean, come on, if you can't feel that by sticking your finger out there, something wrong with you. I am going to make some comments because I watched all the videos like you probably did on this shotgun, and I heard some stuff that really made me wonder what they're talking about, and they didn't go into detail, so I'm going to try to cover some of the stuff in here. Alright, so there's your charging handle. Nice and big. You're definitely not going to miss that. Get your chrome lined chamber. There is your bolt release and your lifter assembly or carrier assembly. And there's another button in here that helps you unload it right there. And this little button here is what drops the shell onto the carrier assembly, because it won't do it by itself. Either the trigger has to be pushed or you have to hit that little button. Alright, but this action is super slick and super smooth. Has to be, because this thing is supposed to be 35% faster. And as you can see, it's pretty dirty right now because I have a little over 100 rounds fired through it. But we're going to clean this at the end of the video, so stay tuned for the disassembly and cleaning at the end. Right now we're just going to show off the gun, the features, do a little shooting, and then at the end of the video we'll do a disassembly and cleaning. Now moving on forward a little bit, on top of the receiver here we have a rear ghost ring and a small pick and titty rail here. Now I'm thinking about removing this, taking those two screws out and seeing how it looks, maybe plug those screw holes, because I like this ghost rig sight. It's a nice design with a big ring, and it just looks good, looks handsome on the gun. Works well for me. I'll give you a little better shot of that in a little bit. Alright, so in front of all that, we start our barrel. Now look at that forcing cone. Look how long that forcing cone is. That is why we don't have such a harsh recoil with this gun. It's that long forcing cone. Really makes it a pleasure to shoot. And move a little bit forward here. I see there's a little tab of plastic there hanging out. I'll have to trim that off. I never noticed that before. See it right there? That's alright. It's the only imperfection I've seen on the whole gun. Alright, so up front, here is our barrel clamp. A lot of people don't like it. I don't think it's so bad. I mean, it's polymer. lightweight. It's got your quick detach. Got a M-lock slot up top. Here's your magazine. It's not actually an extension because the tube comes all the way to the end, all the way to here. This is just a polymer cover. That's just how they designed it. But, I don't know. Good looking gun, huh? There's your front sight. It's got one of those inserts in there that glows after it sees light. For the likes of me, I can't remember what they call that right now, but moving on. And it does have a second choke and choke wrench in the box. Alright, now this forend that everybody seems to want to replace, I think is perfect. The texture is outstanding. I shot a little over 100 rounds back to back, and I never felt any heat from the barrel. Nice and lightweight, so the gun is not nose heavy or barrel heavy, and the groove just fits perfect. I think it's perfect. I am not going to change it. Very little I'm going to do this gun. Beretta got it right out of the box. Alright, so let's move on to function, loading, unloading, and the function of the gun. And I got these snap caps off eBay. I think I paid about 12 bucks for 10 of them. It was a great deal. And they're orange, makes it cool. And notice I don't have a shell carrier stuck on the side of my shotgun. I don't like those. I'd prefer to carry my extra rounds in a pouch like this. Alright, so first thing you gotta do is load the shotgun. If you notice that you can't get the lifter to go up. So that was something new to me because I've never had an autoloader before. But if the action is not charged, you can't load it. Now I can load it now that I charged it. Let me show you. So if I pull the trigger, look, can't load it. So you actually have to charge it, and while you're charging it, you might as well just go ahead and stick one in the action, right? See, look, that big bolt release makes it fun to load it that way. But here's the loading gate, so you can see it's got a little bevel to it, and I also want to show you the controls in here. So on the other side of the bolt release, there's a little lever that you can reach in there and pinch. It's and here's the one for the action bar or lifter, whatever you want to call it. That's a little button in the back there. But let's go ahead and load some up in here. I'll show you how to unload it. Now I will say I did screw around with this thing for about a half hour trying to ghost load it and get all 9 rounds in there. And let me tell you, it was a pain in the butt. I don't know if this enhanced version eliminates the ability to load it, but I only got it to go in there twice and get 9 rounds in there twice. And it was such a pain in the butt, it didn't feel right. You know, it's not something that I would do in the heat of a battle or a fight or a competition or something. It's just more hassle than it's worth. It's easier just to stick a couple rounds in your pocket and pop one in there after you shoot a couple, you know. So anyways, you see as I'm unloading this, I'm pinching that little button and pushing down on the loading gate or action bar, whatever you want to call it, and just letting the rounds out. Alright. And then just pop the one out of the chamber. And they do go flying. I got a couple under the couch I got to fish out. So next up, I wanted to compare the 1301 to the Remington 870. Now, I've had this 870 probably for close to 15 years. It looks similar, but it is a completely different action because it's pump action. So as you shoot and aim, you got to continuously pump it to keep it fed. So, 2 totally different guns. Now, you can check out the length of pull. I got a lot shorter length of pull on that 870 because I got that Hogue U stock on there. And I do that. I like this short stock. If you're in a vehicle or in tight spaces, it gives you a lot more maneuverability with the gun. You know, I don't like pistol grip shotguns. I like a stock. I like to be able to shoulder it. But with the short length of pull, it gives me a lot more maneuverability. Now this has a Scattergun Technologies ghost ring on here. I had to drill and tap that, and I used to think it was a really nice looking setup, but this Beretta 1301, it blows its doors off. Look at these. Not only do they have these protective wings, but they're a lot easier to adjust, and for windage and elevation. Yeah. So I thought about putting an aim point on here, but man, the ghost ring works so great. There's really no reason to add the bulk and the weight to the shotgun. It does fine like it is. Now look at these mounts. This is where we feed these babies. And the 870 and the Beretta 1301, they're beveled about the same. Here, let me show you here. See what I'm talking about? Got about the same bevel and the same size. Really, hold on, that one's got to be charged. Remember that. Alright, now they go. So they got about the same tension, the same bevel, the same size port. I was really surprised. You know, everybody's talking about how great the 1301 is, but hell, that 870's been doing it for a long time. Now you want to unload the 870, you got to push the release here and pump them out the bottom. That's pretty much the best way to empty an 870. There's your safety, cross bolt. It's behind the trigger. I do like that better. I like the safety behind the trigger. It reminds me of my Crossman BB gun that I first learned to shoot on when I was about 8 years old. Now the 1301 is in front of it, but it is a lot bigger, just like most of the controls on this 1301. But you know, both these shotguns, they weigh about the same. You know, Remington 870 is probably about 6.5, and that's about 6.5, and so they kind of equal out on the weight. But that action, you know, that blink system on that 1301 compared to a pump action over here, it's just night and day. The Beretta is clearly the winner between these two guns. Alright, let's go out and shoot this bad boy.
Send it down. Yeah. That freaking 12 gauge, dude. Put me back on my heels. National Armory Camp Rapid Fire. Right. A big club. Wow. One more. Right. Keep going. Your clip.